Today is June 16th, 2023. Well, after the last couple of tapes, a lot of people scattered, still having some harassment. Um, Today I was up in Akron at my second job, and where the police had went around telling everybody not to say anything to me, and they were asking, do you think that agent fell for their tapes before, over a month ago? Well, you better not have known about him. He better not have looked at him. He knew better. Because, like in my last tape, you can't even surveillance somebody on your own. It's stalking. You can't follow someone around taking pictures. It's stalking. You get arrested right away for even saying it, and you got proof you've been stalking somebody, you go to jail. They are, what they're doing is it's a sextortion scam that church is pulling. That have someone break in my house, tape me naked, sell me on porn sites, Photoshop, take me in the shower, Photoshop the shower scene, date rape drug me with amnesia drugs. So I sleepwalk, and that way they'll have me say whatever, and I'll wake up and run to the bathroom, throwing up, have a mark on me thinking, where did I bang myself? Then ended up with giant bruises. I even go to the doctor, then a personal infection. I'm swollen, I'm infected, and I'm thinking the well water's eating my skin, just washing in it, and they don't know what's wrong with me. And I'm dizzy, my heart's racing, I'm almost passing out, and they can't figure out what's wrong with me because I was fine before I moved in that house. And here I'm being drugged, beat, raped, and human trafficked under drugs in that house. Today, up there, some of the neighbors were talking, said none of this is funny. It is verified that the agent that called her back, he did tell on her the night before. We're November 6, 22 at Trinity Gospel. Investigators were in there talking while I was in church. Karen's okay anymore. We found the protected custody case. And they're talking about the different people in the case. And they said, well, it's verified by officers. An officer, that agent that called her back, is actually the one that told on her to that church the night before she called him back. Oh my Lord, and they walk out. Well, my ex-husband told my son Danny on April 15, 1623 that he had hired some guy named Pete on his own, and it was only him surveillancing me in the house and doing all those things, beat, drug, and raping me. Sex trafficking videos. And I told you that stunt from him calling Katie a heifer in the mall. Well, we were up at Pamers. Dave hadn't been at Lighthouse for, since 2011. Here it is, 2017. And people are coming up to us because we only randomly went up there to church. I thought you guys broke up. He was going out with Katie. I'm like, Dave, are you cheating on me? He's like, no. He's like, I don't know why she would say that. And then it got to the point, he's like, she's just making stuff up for attention. Like she's some kind of pathetic spinster telling everybody somebody left their wife to go out with her. And he said she's just making up stories. Okay? He's leaving, he's like, Karen, I'm with you all day long except for when I go to work. He wasn't staying at work. They were cheating. And instead of him being an adult and confessing to adultery, and then since she's a millionaire, go off with her and her farm, and him just divorce me and do me right of being married 30 years, make sure I'm okay. Because that would be honest, right? Yeah. But see, he was dating a stripper, he was dating Savannah, he was dating all kinds of people. Okay? And I gave you the statement earlier too, where we go into the mall and we're taught more people from different churches are coming up and saying stuff to us. He's like, Karen, I don't know why that girl's making that up. I said, why is she? He's going on about it too, and I said, I don't understand. Well, buy the purses in Macy's. He says, trust me, Karen. He said, I'd rather kiss a cow's butt than that ugly heifer. Well, I turn around and laugh. We're married 30 years. We go to leave the entrance of Macy's. He said it again. She's in Ashcroft and Oak down the mall. How would she find out? Because that was a setup between him and her to have her family. Well, he insults her and for me to laugh. Okay? And that for them to go, oh, she get her. We all gotta get her. Where Dave insults her and I laugh. He did it a couple of times. In Macy's or other stores. Nowhere she could see or hear, nobody around. So they had been stalking us. It was a setup. The only thing she should have known is when we went to walk into the food court, he grabbed me, dipped me, and kissed me. And if they weren't dating, why would she care? See, that's the whole thing of it is, how would she know? Because it was a setup, gotcha. And him and her did it so people would turn on me. And do you realize how sick it is? They're committing adultery, and he's married, living with me, and they're going to get me because he insulted her. Oh, today up in Akron, where they had told them, that agent better not have known about those tapes before and da-da-da-da-da-da. Because he didn't arrest him. Because you say you're surveillancing somebody on their own, you don't have a right to. It's instant jail stalking. You say you kicked in somebody's door and are personally stalking them, you go to jail. Anything can be photoshopped. And where they've been breaking since 18, they had sodium pentothal reports. They were amnesia drugging me. So I'd say whatever they wanted. Okay? Today I'm out walking with my client. Some men are talking. Said none of this is funny. We went over that church. It really was that agent that called her back, told her the night before that he even fell for the faking she was sick and faking she got well. And he didn't even look into that. And if she was going to insult their women, they could do anything they wanted to her, and he didn't care. That's not being an agent. That's being a criminal. And that he already knew they were raping her before, and he said he didn't care. I had attempts in my life, and I was in so much danger. When I called the FBI, they were stalking me in my home. They were sex trafficking videos of me on porn sites. They were breaking in, date rape, drugging me, beating me, leaving me covered in bruises, throwing up, dizzy, almost passing out, a severe personal infection. And the only thing I knew is I had bruises, throwing up, dizzy, heart racing, a severe headache from the drugs. And I didn't even know that because they're amnesia drugs, and a severe personal infection that I'm swollen and infected here. I'm being beat, drugged, raped, and human trafficked. Because Katie wants to have fun with the wife. This is killing Jezebel. Get rid of your wife, get rid of your children, gotta give you now. They're letting the girlfriend kill or destroy the wife. The so-called religious godly people are a went serial killer. And that agent knew I was being raped, human trafficked. And he didn't even look into my medical records. He didn't look up that fibromyalgia goes into spontaneous remission 80% of the time. He didn't look up that I had MRI reports showing the swelling. And like the nurse said, it was a medication error. And they should have caught it even though it was 20 years ago. Instead of adding more medicine that started shutting everything down. It's a good thing you got off all that. You went to a doctor that put you on pain medicine, got you out moving. And it took 9 months of working with that doctor to get well. And getting off that medication, get on high doses of pain medicine. They had me on fentanyl patches. That's how much pain I was in. Fentanyl and Vicodin and muscle relaxers. I was in so much pain, it was ridiculous. See, that's where he didn't even look at any of my medical history. He didn't consult with anybody. He supposedly fell for a lie that Strange made up so Dave could date Katie back in 2003 or have another girlfriend. So he could have his wife at home till he decided what he wanted. It was a stunt. Oh, I blew up Ron Vega on Facebook. How dare you use your family's tragedy that I had nothing to do with and use it for my ex-husband to cheat when what I had goes into a remission 80% of the time. I put my medical records up there, a copy of the photo of the fentanyl patches, the prescription, Cleveland Clinic reports showing what was wrong with me. I had 6 to 10 surgeries before I went into fibromyalgia from having endometriosis and kidney problems. And how dare that agent? That makes him not an agent, but a criminal. The FBI needs to arrest him. Like they said out at my client's house out in North Canton, none of this is funny. Uh, People have died over this, and the FBI was involved and it didn't stop it. He's an accessory to murder, human trafficking. He knew I was being human trafficked. He knew I was being raped and beaten, my home under drugs. What should he have done? Hid me and arrested them all. Anybody says that they can break in your home and they're stalking you unaware and they're selling you on porn sites and you didn't know it, and they're photoshopping shower scenes and they lie, they have sodium pentothal reports and they're amnesia drugging you, and he knew all those things were happening to me and he didn't care. You know, my one friend from the prosecutor's office said there was backdoor deals going on in Stark County. And I said, what's that? He said their authorities or different law enforcements are taking payoffs to let people get victimized or killed. And until somebody fixes it, it keeps happening. How much? There was a 25 grand ahead of my life. He'd take it, or they give him more. For him not to care that people got killed, human trafficked. And see, that's where I told you, they made fun of him June 7th, 2023, Walmart 62, about 11 o'clock in the morning by the ladies' bathroom. They tape an audio through the whole store. Yeah, I'm getting my hair done. I go to the bathroom. They're outside the bathroom, Harold Strange's church, Lighthouse Tabernacle. Jody, Katie's sisters, friends, and they're people from the church mocking that FBI agent John. You mean that FBI agent John fell for the tapes before? What on earth? They were just a stunt. Huh? They were getting even with me for Dave's fat joke in the other store, where she shouldn't have known unless it was a setup for her friends and family going, oh, she laughed at a joke at her. We all gotta get her. That's sick. People have called me ugly to my face. Do I get even with them? No. Do I have people go in and violate them in their home? No, that's sick and highly illegal. Just because she's a millionaire, I told you she's a black widow. Her first husband had heart disease. They got in an argument. He was having chest pains, went in the bathroom. She made sure he's good and Dad didn't check on him for an hour. Dave said the church people were complaining she didn't do enough for him. She did nothing to make sure. You know what she got? Life insurance policy and a dairy farm. She's a black widow. She's like, she must not have known about Savannah. She must not have known about the stripper and all the other women. That's where Delano Eddy or another man in that church, in like Apostolic Church of Barberton, yelled at him, you think you're better than her dating all those women. I was so mad I walked off. I come back up and I'm like, Dave, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. Yes, he did. He doesn't know what he's saying. Yes, he did. They're opening marriages and then letting those women hurt the wife or kill them and come up a way to destroy him. And so that they can have the proper wife, one that'll kill and destroy for the man. It's sick. It's very sick. And that agent needs to be arrested. Absolutely needs to be arrested. Letting victims be victimized. And he fell for Strange's life. You know, Strange made that up so that Dave could have his girlfriend at church. The Sunday before Tyler and Phil got in that traffic accident, Danny and Tyler were outside the church last doors playing. And he's got a big, long fruit roll up eating it. And they're coming up to me, you're doing so much better. It's good to see you. And we always see you out driving, pulling yourself around stores and malls. And, you know, talking about my weight loss, because I lost over 30 pounds by then. And it's like, I said, well, they talk about spontaneous remission. I can't happen fast enough. Well, you're going to beat this anyways. Look how good you're doing. My mom even told Joyce about the spontaneous remission, and everybody else in that church and what I had goes into spontaneous remission 80% of the time. And the rest was medication errors. And even like the nurse at Altman Family Physician, even though it was 20 years ago, they should have caught it. And they didn't. So that agent fell for a scam from an occult leader that was just trying to make up an excuse for Dave to have his family at home and his church girlfriend till he decided what he wanted. And Ron, using that, his family's tragedy, I didn't get well for 2 months afterwards. Where they're like, Karen, you'll kick it eventually. 2 months later, I did. So did anything have to do with anything? No. How dare he use his family's tragedy to help Dave cheat and then redo families? How dare he? How dare he? I blew him up on Facebook and Savannah. where Paymer yelled at her right before this started, 100 feet, 50 to 100 feet from me. Are you going out with her husband? And I looked over and he's pointing at me. Because I'll say something to her. Oh, we're just friends. That little snotty bitch. 17, 18-year-old kid. Son 60. Oh, we just talk and da 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 da. She had no right going out with my husband. She had no right telling him how to hurt me. She's a snotty, and you know it was her Facebook friend that followed around me. She set up the attempted murder too. See, these people in that occult to get the new wife status are willing to kill and destroy. And that agent's telling people that he said he didn't care. He even knew they were raping me before. And he didn't care what they did. If she was going to fake she was sick before and she thinks she's going to insult their women, they can do whatever they want to her. They said none of this is funny. He was telling them that. And that's where he bullied me on the phone when I tried to tell him that someone told me in the church. He called me a liar when I tried to tell him about the guy threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle. And then he bullied me into a false statement there because I didn't know if there was a camera above the bench. That's the kid, the serial killer in this area. Dave was in contact with him. That's where the stripper comes in and the drug cartel that are human trafficking and use that case he opened. And they were using me for bait, and all these people are showing up, and then they're picking them off. That agent needs to go to jail. My house manager, Merlisa, her niece got taken by the guy that tried to kidnap me in front of Terry. I tried to tell him that he tried to kidnap me before he called me a liar. Terry let me tape her with her permission. She's seen him. Same description, same guy took Merlisa's niece. Same thing. With my other coworker at my second job that already killed her family member. Even other people I've trained, they know about him in this area. He stalks people and they grab him in the daylight. They're in it with the big truck guys that harass you and the other people, and they're drug traders out of this area, human trafficking people. And that's where they were getting the amnesia drugs. They drugged up Eric November 1822, Walmart 62, and told him to go in and confess by the hair salon 2 to 6 p.m. and screamed out a confession that everything was him. See, that's why Katie's sister and the people from Lighthouse mocked John June 7th, 2023. That FBI agent John fell for that stunt of the tape before. It was only a stunt. They were getting even with me for Dave's mean joke and me laughing at it. There was a stunt for all of them to turn on me. She's sick. Where Dave's like, oh, she just wants attention. Yeah, she just wants attention. So they set it up so people would hurt me. Set it up so people would hurt me. And they did. Because why would he call her a heifer in the mall? Why would he even make that joke? Because when she was telling everybody in 2011 that they were going out, he just called her a flat out liar. And they probably were going out. And they were probably going out in 2003. And they keep breaking up and getting back together. And then she dates Tim. And like Trish said, she goes out with all these married men in bars or the people that have the girls' boyfriend. She'll get mad at him, take him out in the car, have sex with him, get in bar fights. She's crazy. Before she came to church, she had that attitude and she brought that into church. Getting even with other women. And yeah, she's very, very sick and very dangerous. All these people are. And these idiots, but they made fun of him. That was only a stunt. Yeah, having me sex traffic videos of me, having me date rape, drugged, amnesia drugs, told to say stuff so I wouldn't remember, throwing up, photoshopping shower scenes, and publicly humiliating me because she was dating Dave and she needed attention, so they came up with the stunt so that her family and friends could hear him insult her and me laugh. How dare I in another store? Not even to her face. In another store, how dare she laugh at Dave's joke? We gotta get her. Do you realize how sick that agent is? He's not an agent. He's a severe criminal. That's where I'm thinking my friend from the prosecutor's office is right, where they said they were doing backdoor deals. That agent took a backdoor deal. He's let people be taken, killed, in this case, and me raped and tortured. And everybody's like, none of this is funny. He said he didn't care. He listed me informant, $5,000 a month. Put me in, I was supposed to be in protected custody. He's probably the one that told the cops they weren't allowed to help me. Uh-huh. And they were just supposed, they documented everything though. They needed to arrest him. That's where other sheriffs out of this area or your local police slow. They should have arrested that agent the first day. He couldn't do any of this, or that retired judge. No one can do this. And then he talked about arresting judges itself and the judges' kids for pulling crap. They can't do any of this. No one can do this. We live in the United States of America. Nobody can break in your home and watch you. Nobody can tape you unaware in your home. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements. I even talked to Officer Reinhardt Louisville, and he said even the FBI would go to jail being in your home outside a protect your life case with statements. So who the hell is retired Judge Pete Michelle? Huh? Who do they think they are? And they can't look or listen because it'd be illegal to. So that agent looking at those tapes, he broke a federal constitutional law. And they laughed at him. He actually fell for those stunts for the tapes before. You're kidding. FBI agent John fell for those stunts? It was just a stunt. What do you mean? Come on now. That's why they got away with all this? Because he fell for that stunt? And they laugh again, mocking him in Walmart, June 7th, 2023. At 11 o'clock in the morning by the ladies' bathroom up front. By the 8th, I went down to 8th of June. I went down to Massillon. People are like, no one will say a word to you because everybody heard him make fun of him for falling for their stunts. He was to arrest him for stalking me, sex trafficking videos, raping me, drugging me, human trafficking me. He was to do his damn job. He was the one up at that church. I told you, everybody's verified it. It was the agent that called me back, that told me the night before, and I tried to tell him, and that's why he called me a liar. He's a severe criminal, allowing people in occults to get away with stuff. And for him to fall for somebody getting well and working with a doctor, they don't give you fentanyl patches when you're faking. Duh. Or I have scars all over. I have Cleveland Clinic reports, MRI reports. Everything that happened to me is explainable, and everything of me getting well is explainable too. Because 80% of the time, fibromyalgia goes into remission and all the swelling and everything's shutting down with medication errors. And he was too lazy to look that up. Huh? And who cares if somebody insults somebody in another store and not to their face? Huh? Let alone it was a husband and the wife just laughed at him. And think of that one too. It's called grow up. People have called me ugly in my face. I didn't do all these heinous crimes to him. Huh? People have mocked me for being raped, tortured, my skull bashed in protected custody. They still owe me that $5,000 a month. He opened a real case, had a cop talk to Dave. I have my own security team. Different police departments help watch me. Started September 27th, 18. FBI informant. A lot of cops call it Karen around the house. People from Ravenna called it Karen's Craig. After my brother-in-law that worked for the government that died. He disgraces our nation, that agent, and the FBI needs to arrest him, or the Department of Justice. And I did tell the Department of Justice, and I did tell the Director of National Intelligence. Somebody needs to arrest him. He's dangerous. And he promised every witness protection program comes with $5,000 a month. And he can't put a gag order on me. And it was him telling on me. Because like my friend from the prosecutor's office, that agent don't have enough authority. He's only law enforcement. He can never tell you to stay quiet. An agent out of the state tried to tell another informant, they sued him. Press went in an uproar. If that agency ever brags one agent that they tell anybody they can't say anything, they need to shut them down. They're only law enforcement. They don't have authority to tell anybody they can't say anything. They need to shut them down. Otherwise, last year they were in an uproar. Because they don't, why would you stay quiet? He already told on me. He was already cutting them deals. They already got to him. That's how not funny this is. I tried to tell him on a thing and he called me a liar. He called me a liar because it was him and he already cut a deal with him. That's why they drugged me out for 3 days and I couldn't get out of bed. Think of that one. No, we all know none of this is funny. He even knew they were raping her and he said he didn't care. Someone needs to arrest that agent.